This last weekend was the annual Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and of course I was there! Now, last year, I did a really in-depth sort of retrospective video about the expo where I had a bunch of footage from the vendor area and wandered around and all the stuff that I saw, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not going to lie. That video was a huge amount of work to edit. I want to say I spent about 6 hours editing it, and it did not get a lot of views. So I feel like people are not very interested in that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to spend that kind of time on things that people aren't interested in. I want to spend that time on other stuff. However, I do want to do a small pickups video. I'm going to talk very briefly about the expo. So that's primarily what this video is a pickups video, this stuff that I got. The show was great fun. I spent a lot of time in the vendor area, especially on Saturday. Sunday, I spent a little bit of time in the vendor area going and picking up some things that I had seen the previous day that I was a little unsure about. A couple of things I wanted to go back home and research and make sure that they were actually what I wanted before I spent money. And then I spent most of my time, because I was tired, I spent most of my time sitting in the Classic Tetris World Championships area, sitting. On Saturday, my fitness tracker tells me that I had a little over 15,000 steps and that I walked around 8.5 miles while I was at the expo. So it was, my old man knees and ankles were pretty grouchy the next morning. So sitting was definitely in order. It was a good show, but I don't feel like anything really stood out. Last year there were a couple things that really stood out to me, like the talk about Ms. Pac-Man that really stood out. This year, I mean, I had fun and I talked to a lot of people and saw a bunch of interesting things, but there wasn't anything that really wowed me. I mean, it happens. It happens from time to time. As per usual, I did go to the auction, which they returned to the old format of being in person only, and that was a huge improvement. There were some other kind of procedural issues with the auction, but that happens too. There's nothing there was nothing really to be upset about. Anyway, enough. I'm just kind of rambling now. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what kind of stuff I bought. So the pickups portion of this video is going to be pretty short because depending on how you want to measure it, I either got the least amount of stuff ever at a PRGE or I got the most amount of stuff. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a moment. So I got the Power Pass, which came with a pin, which I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with the quality of this pin. It is really cool. That is a really cool pin. It comes with a poster and then a t-shirt. T-shirt is the same as the poster. I definitely appreciate that, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, they started putting the date, the year on the t-shirts. They didn't always do that. I always found that very annoying. Like if I go back, I want to remember oh yeah, that was the 2013 shirt. I don't want to have to go back and look it up to figure out which shirt is which. Anyway, so I do appreciate that. Poster is pretty cool. The Power Pass. So there was another package that came with, I think it just came with the shirt and the poster. I don't remember if it came with the pen. That was basically $100 less than the Power Pass. So what that extra C note got you was in an hour early on Saturday, maybe also on Sunday. I don't know. I slept in on Sunday. I was tired. It also allowed you to cut the line at the panels, basically. and supposedly was going to let you cut the line at the auction. That didn't work out in practice. Typically, the getting into the auction is kind of a mess, and this year was no different. And it didn't really matter. As long as you got there to line up reasonably, there was plenty of places for people to sit. That was no problem. But I probably won't get, if they do this pass again next year. This was an experiment this year. I don't know that I will do it. I only went to 2 panels, so being able to cut the line at the panels didn't really do anything for me. And it seems like in previous years, I didn't have problem. Even the panels that I go to aren't the big one. Like, I didn't go see Angry Video Game Nerd. The line for that was ridiculous. I could see it being a benefit there, but I didn't go to those. So, And getting in an hour early into the vendor area on Saturday was kind of nice because, meant you could shop for a while when there was fewer people and you weren't tripping over everyone for an hour. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it made that much difference for me. So I probably won't do this again next year. I'll save the $100. It was an experiment for them and for me. So I did get a couple of games. These were the only 2 games I got, which is super weird. So I got Thunder Force 2. This is the Japanese Mega Drive version. It was a lot less expensive than the North American version. Plays the same. There's not, in a shmup, there is not a lot of text to read. I also bought Shark Shark for the Intellivision. I have a copy of this, and it is my favorite Intellivision game. I can't say enough good things about this game. It is so much fun to play. The copy that I already have, I think I only have one of the overlays, and the cartridge has something rattling around inside. I feel like it doesn't have a lot of years left on it, so I wanted to pick up another one, and I wanted to get one that was complete, so I kind of held out. I've been looking for a few expos for one that was in the box, and the box was in. I mean, this is about as good a condition as Intellivision boxes get. It is such a fabulous game. It takes a while to get used to how to play it and sort of what the strategy is for it, but once you kind of figure it out, it is a hoot, and it is great to play 2-player. Oh my gosh. Myself and one of my cousins who's 25 years younger than I am or something, when he was younger, we spent about 3 hours one afternoon playing this game and just going, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. What else? Okay, so I also picked up this. This may look a little bit familiar. This is essentially the Famicom version of the NES Advantage. I have a Sharp Twin Famicom and a good size collection of shmups for that system, and I hate playing shmups with a D-pad. I find I don't have very precise control, and I just find that using a joystick works so much better for me. So this is going to be a great addition for when I actually, am not going to estate sales or YouTubing and actually have time to play games. This will be a super help. So I think that it is possible to build an adapter to use either, North American NES Advantage on Famicom and vice versa. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked it up. It seems like it's probably possible, but this was in really good condition and the price was fair, I think. So it just that felt easier than modifying a controller or building an adapter or something like that. Now, I like to look at the kind of the junk bins that are usually tucked underneath the tables at these kinds of things, because sometimes you can find treasures in there. It's the stuff they would just want gone. Digging through one of those boxes, I found a Saturn video cable with S-Video. I think I paid, I want to say $2, maybe $3 for this, which is really a pretty good deal. I've got a couple Saturns, and I think I only have one S-Video cable for it. So that is terrific. Now, the reason that I say, depending on how you measure it, maybe this was the most stuff I ever got. All right. So I got this mammoth box of stuff. It is 5 Commodore 128 power supplies, and several of them, I can find one of the, several of them have already, I see it in there, have already been modified to have the C64 style round connector, which is terrific. There is a 1571 floppy drive of unknown condition, a box of floppy disks, which I have not even looked at, which I did see on the outside. It says CPM, so I'm expecting to find a CPM disk in here. Let's see what else there is. CPM, and then just a bunch of stuff. Okay, well, cool. And then it seemed like there was a couple other things in here that seemed useful. Anyway, this was the first thing that I bought, and I had them hold it at their table for me. Oh yes, there was so this is the sort of video cable for the RGBI video output from a Commodore 128 to connect to I cannot remember which monitor, a 1902? I want to say a 1902 monitor. So this end plugs into the back of the Commodore 64, into the CGA style connector, and then this end plugs into the monitor. So I don't think I had one of these cables. I have the monitor. I have a Commodore 128. Now I have the right cable to go with it. What else was it in here? Oh, a drive cable. What is this? And a chip of some kind. I wonder what this is. I did not even notice this in here before. A 6520. Okay, that's useful. And then I just saw, and a random Radio Shack universal power supply with a single, teeny tiny tip. Okay, I don't know how useful that'll be with that tip. Yeah. Now, what happened was I usually park pretty far away from the convention center so that I'm outside of the event area parking, where I don't know, it's like $40. It's some ridiculous amount of money to park at the convention center. If you park on the street, it's $3 an hour. And I was there basically from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. So yeah, I didn't want to pay. So that's what, 15 hours? Yeah, I didn't want to pay $45 for street parking. So I parked a scratch over half a mile away. I parked someplace where I don't usually park. It's in a different area than where I usually park for this event. And what I didn't realize is it was slightly uphill. So the event hall closed on Saturday. And then there was, and then some not very long after that was going to be the auction. So I needed to line up for the auction. I needed to go grab this from the vendor, take it to my car, and then because it was kind of in a little bit of a sketchy area, I wanted to move my car. Like, oh, hey, look, I just put a box of stuff in my car. Come, smash my window and take some Commodore power supplies. So I had to walk as fast as I could, slightly uphill, carrying this 35 round box of power supplies. By the time I got to my car, it was really humid out because it had been raining off and on all day. I was so sweaty. I felt so gross. And then moved my car and then had to, hightail it back to the convention center to get in line for the auction. It was ridiculous. And by the time I got back there, it was for sure. It was my workout for the day. Before I shuffle these off, a big part of the reason why I pounced on these the way that I did, I have a huge stash. I think at least 2 boxes of Commodore 64, VIC-20, and I think even a couple Commodore 16s that are in need. And I need power supplies to go with them because all I have are the kinds of power supplies that probably put those machines in the state that they're currently in. So sometime in the coming months, I'm gonna have to repair a whole bunch of those systems. Now, I've made a big deal about this channel isn't Commodore 64 repair stuff, but I think I'm gonna have to. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to see a big Commodore repairathon, or if you think I should just do that kind of stuff, on my own time. I picked up a few other things. I picked up one of these retrobit controllers for the GameCube. One of the main things that I end up using my GameCube for is to play Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. And I just find that this kind of a controller works a lot better than the weird GameCube controller. And I'll never, ever get one of the real hoary versions of this. And I also picked up 2 of these. This is their version of the GameCube to component video cable. So I got 2 of them. I have one of the original Nintendo ones. I'm going to be borrowing a similar kind of device from a friend of mine. I have a project coming up. Hopefully there'll be a video about this in maybe mid-November, but I might have to push it out to December. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Where I'm gonna have 4 GameCubes and a Wii, and I'm gonna have them set up all together to do something really, really cool. Each of the GameCubes is going to be connected to a PVM over RGB. I'm super excited about that. I have 2 PVMs. I'm hoping to be able to borrow 2. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, it's going to be a big project. If it all works out, there will be at least 2 videos about this. But that's coming up. I'm pretty excited about it. I've been wanting to do this project for a long time, and I finally decided to just get off my behind and do it. I also went to, of course, the Classic Tetris World Championship. What a final. Oh my gosh. So I bought a t-shirt this year, and I got some of the Tetris gummies. Ooh, hey, a long bar. And that was it. That was all I got. I mostly, wandered around and talked to people and looked at stuff and just kind of hung out. I think I only went to a couple of panels, and it was very weird going through the museum and seeing all the Jaguar stuff there, and seeing on display games that people were working on at High Voltage Software while I was working there. Single tier. But also, kind of cool. Like, hey, I knew that stuff way back when. Anyway, enough of that. So, I'm hoping to get another video out this week if everything goes well. It's already been a little bit dicey, so we'll see. I want to get back onto Unixtober going to try really hard to get 2 videos out this month for that. If you've enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate you clicking the like button. If you are interested in seeing the Unixtober stuff or this GameCube project that I have coming up, I highly recommend that you click the subscribe button. And until next time, try to remember the good stuff.